Hey, my name is ShawNshawN. I sell art on ShawNshawN.co. Today we're going to review The Black Phone. So this is a film by Scott Derrickson. Time is 1 hour and 42 minutes. So right around that sweet spot, 1 hour and a half I like, just a little bit longer. Actors are Mason Thames plays Finney, one of the kids kidnapped. Madeleine McGraw plays Gwen, his sister. Hawke plays the grabber. Davies plays Terrence, I think that's the father. Roger Mitchell plays Detective Wright. Troy Rudeseal, Detective Miller. And James Ransone plays Max. So the story of these kids are getting kidnapped all around town, and the person doing it has a black van, and he has black balloons that he kind of uses to distract the kids, and all the kids know about him, and he's using the same MO each time, so it's really terrorizing the kids, obviously, because they're like, oh my god, there's a black van, where's this at? So I like that kind of episode. One girl in the school has premonitions of the killer dream, but then her dad's kind of like beating her for having these dreams because the mother went crazy kind of basically by having all these dreams. So he wants to protect her from that until her brother disappears, and then the father's all about like, hey, maybe we can use those dreams to find the boy, right? The boy's being held at this house, and he's trying to figure out various ways to get out of the house, and there's this weird black corded wall phone in the room that keeps calling him up. So I like the idea of all the 1978 nostalgia with the clothes, the costume, pinball machines, the way it kind of was back in the day. And they really got the authenticity of that year, I think, down really well. You have this kind of feel like in a lot of modern horror films that they're just stuck in the 1970s. I don't know why they stick to that period. They could do 1980s horror film as well, or even 1990s before they get to cell phones. But, you know, they're all stuck in the pre-cell phone era for some reason. I guess because it's creepier that way, and it's easier for a murderer, a mass murderer, to operate, and it would be way more difficult to get away with that in a cell phone era, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it's just lazy script writing. It's pretty cool that they have this black phone on the wall, and it's this corded old phone, and I suppose for the new audience that would be really creepy that this old tech from the 1970s would be calling people and be like, ooh, super creepy. It doesn't scare me, but I think for a teenage crowd, it probably would be scary because they're used to the iPhone, and they'd be like, what the hell is this black thing on the wall calling? How to use it? So that's kind of fun, and all the victims call the current kid being held and kind of try to save him, so that's kind of interesting because he tries various ways to get out of that room that's been soundproofed and cement and, you know, really hard to find. The other really scary thing about the film is before Finn is taken, some of the toughest kids in the neighborhoods that are school bullies or really good fighters have been taken by the grabber as well. So you don't have a good sense that Finn's going to survive at all because these other kids that are fighters got captured by the grabber too. So it's got to be pretty terrible for them too. There's this nice backstory of bullying at school with Finn and some of the other characters. So I like that build up, how they build that through the story, because that's a real thing that kids go through, and, you know, current topic as well today. There was a really nice soundtrack. They used kind of a little bit of elements from The Quiet Place, where some of the tension scenes they don't use any soundtrack at all, which makes the tension a lot higher. So they have they have very, very few jump scares. So when they finally use it, it's really great because you really jump out of your seat. It's really fun. I always like that in a story if they kind of build it up and it just comes out of you out of nowhere. Like they did that really well in The Alien in 1978. So this is throwback to the 70s, like slow build of tension. It was really weird too because some mother brought their 11, 12-year-old, 13-year-old girl to the movie. But then I was thinking, well, this particular film is actually a good way to scare kids straight, so to say, about the stranger danger kind of thing. So, you know, considering it wasn't that bloody and that crazy, I mean, I guess you could take a kid that age and would kind of scare them straight. So that's kind of a smart thing, I guess, but really strange because I know my parents never took me to any film that was R-rated or anything when I was a kid. So I'm like, well, this is probably at least PG-13. I don't know what it was, probably R, but it's kind of strange that parents would drag their kid there. But considering, you know, kidnapping is a very serious thing, sometimes the best way is to scare kids versus waiting till it's too late, and then you can't scare them then because they're already dead, you know, or taken by these captures. So I recommend the film. I don't know if it's a collecting film, but it's a really fun film. If you'd like to subscribe, you can subscribe below. And I'll see you in the next movie review. Thanks for watching, guys.